My name is Femi, and I'm from Doncaster College, and I'm going to be explaining the key component inside a computer. So let's see, guys. Right, so this is an empty computer. I've just removed the case, and I'm trying to explain the key component inside this computer. So what I'm just going to try to open up the lid, open up this power supply, as well as the optical drive, as you can see me doing. And just remove this as well too, just to make it much easier. And I will start now. First of all, as you can see here, this metallic grain at the bottom here, where we have the heatsink, the NOT bridge are all plugged in, and the RAM are all plugged into the motherboard. This is what I mean by the motherboard. This one that I'm just pointing to with a pencil here, these are all motherboard. This green stuff here, as you can see. And motherboard is the main circuit which hold the CPU, which is under directly here, the memory, the RAM, which is here, the hard drive, which is this one, the optical drive, this, and the expansion slot, as you can see from here. So this motherboard basically also allows the control of a video and audio, including USB connection, as you can see as I'm pointing to here. So the CPU, now first of all, this is an heatsink. Unfortunately, I cannot be able to remove it now, because if I have to do that, that's going to take quite a while. But this is an heatsink with a fan, and basically the heatsink absorbs the heat from the CPU. The CPU is directly at the bottom. I don't know if you can see it carefully. Is that the heatsink is directly at the bottom down there, and the CPU is known as the central processing unit, which is called the processor, which is the brain of the computer, and its job is to carry out command. So for example, when you click or press a mouse or start an application, it sends instruction to the CPU. So the CPU is directly under the heatsink here, as you can see here. The RAM is known as the random access memory, and it usually enhances the computer performance while it is working. So let me try to remove this RAM. See? Sorry about that. So this RAM, it looks like it's like a DDR2, and it's a 512 megabit RAM. And this is basically you enhance the performance while the computer is working. So I have to put it back and make sure it's done properly. And then by the time I push it in correctly, you probably hear like a click sound. So just bear with me. Yeah, and that's done now. And I put the RAM back. Very good. Now, so that's the RAM, which is the random access memory. And whenever a computer performs a calculation, it stores the data in the RAM when it is needed. Here we call this the CMOS battery. And the CMOS batteries basically store the basic information about the PC in terms of configuration, e.g. the hard drive, the hard disk, the power savings, and the plug and play. The CMOS is also included in the motherboard, as you can see here, and is basically a memory which deals with the RTC, which RTC stands for real-time check in terms of the update within the computer. We also have here the hard disk. And the hard disk is basically this hard disk is where software documents and other files has been stored, and you can see the cable coming directly. This cable here is the PC7 and the PC15, as you can see, as I'm showing it from here, which is directly being plugged in onto the motherboard, as well as the P15, which is directly plugged to the optical drive here, as you can see here. And this stores the software, the document, and files. The power supply unit. This is very important, and this power on the motherboard as well. It basically converts the power from the wall outlet and send the power through the cables. As you can see here, you plug it down here to the power cables to the motherboard and other component, and that is why you could see the cable being plugged in directly onto the motherboard down there. So when it's plugged in directly to the wall socket, it convert the power from the wall socket into a power that is needed to the computer and send the power to the motherboard, which powered on the computer and other component that is also being plugged in. And we have the expansion slot as well, as you can see here. I don't know if you can see carefully the expansion slot here. Now we have one that we can plug in for the network card, the video card, and also most PCIe support both 32 and 64-bit. Let me see what this actually support. I think this is 32 and some of the 64 as well. And we have the, I think this is the South bridge. This is the South bridge. I don't know if you can see that here carefully. That's the South bridge. And the South bridge is an integrated circuit responsible for communication between the mouse, the keyboard, and external data flow to the CPU, where we have the North bridge, which is also an integrated circuit responsible for communicating between the AGP and the hard disk and memory to the CPU. We also have the optical drive. This optical drive is this one here, as you can see here, where we plug in the CD and the DVD-ROM if you want to install operating system into the computer. And this has been loaded in, and it also allows it to be able to play or install any application onto the computer. So we also have the pin 5 IDE connectors, as you can see here, which is basically the IDE cable, the port, which is basically used to connect both the optical and the hard drive onto the motherboard, as we can see from here. So there's a fan here as well too, which tend to blow into the computer to prevent the computer from overheating, especially when the heatsink is very hot, and also to cool the CPU, which is directly under the heatsink here. So that's a little much about the inside of the computer, key component of the computer. I hope I'm able to explain the key part of it. And thank you for watching. And this is Femi Adibide from Doncaster College. Thank you.